نماشوم در گویش‌های محلی شمال شرق ایران تا مازندران یعنی سر شب و در اتاوا یعنی اولین رادیوی پارسی زبان مردم اتاوا.
Danielle. Though history don't care about survivors, it's tricky work to survive and or thrive. To give an account of thyself that accounts for how you never fragment thy radiance. How you came to see trouble as being shallow as a storm cloud, though those vapors can seem to chomp a mountain peak. But sooner or later, sunlight teases through, reveals straight up strength. Like a flower fluting from a vase, music rises up, escapes even prison bars, overcomes. That's thyself. Bold enough to seek out God's cupped ears, to show what no camera can ever show, life that's a spiritual, a heartfelt outpouring of struggles shared, how composures composed. Take no pose, how you overturn any measure of displeasure, discourtesies of the fates. The paucity of self-pity be quite poignant. Instead, candles shiver, quiver nightfall. You don't huddle under clouds, but welcome the sun. Not a drizzle, but the full flood, and want to free all prisoners, smash shackles, end despair. Exemplary, you ascend by degrees.
Hello, my name is Tegan Post, and I am a teacher from Calgary, Alberta. And I'm going to read my poem today called Look. Grandma stepped outside one bright, glorious spring day. She said, "Have you seen the rabbit today?" "No," I replied, watching the last drops of snow melt from the rooftops. "Oh, you must see him." Grandma did not give up. She insisted, "Come along now." There, she pointed proudly to the narrow space between two rocks. Nothing. No rabbit. She pointed again. "Do you see him?" No, I saw nothing. No rabbit. Then I took a deep breath, stood silent and focused, scanned the spot carefully. Oh wait, there he is. It was fast and fleeting. In an instant, it had scampered off. No longer white to blend in with snow, but I saw the rabbit's soft brown coat slowly shift, getting ready to camouflage into the new season, ready for spring frenzy. She said, "Springtime beckons change." The rabbit's colors turn, new life, new growth. Grandma whispered, "You have to be careful, or you'll miss the magic that's right in front of you."
Hello, I am so excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me. My name is Martez Fennec. I am a historical novelist and screenwriter. I live just north of Toronto, and my poem is called The Flying Habits of Butterflies. Butterflies do not fly very high. They graze forest and canyon and sunny woodland glades, play on streams of light, splashing through leafy canopies. They rise and fall, pass into shadow and out, delicate, even the light might bruise them. Is that why they stay close to the ground? Are they loath to test their wings? Because they might fail. What made that one think she'd falter? Who told her to stay low? Someone concerned the beating of her wings might cause a hurricane, or that she might achieve the full potential of flight, touch the sky, climb above. The sky was never the limit, just a page to write on. And yet, butterflies do not fly very high. Even when we could carry each other up with the collective wind of our own beating wings. Defiance against those who would have us stay low. Rise beyond the sky, and if it pleases, bring forth a savage hurricane. Thank you so much, and a very happy New Year.
Hello, my name is Josephine Leray, and I'm coming to you from Western Canada, the city of Calgary. And before I read my poem, I would like to acknowledge that I live and work on the land that was traditionally inhabited and traversed by the Indigenous peoples of this area for tens of thousands of years. I would like to thank these peoples for bringing culture and language and poetry to this land, and the peoples who lived in this area were the Piikani, Siksika, Kainai, Nakota, and Tsuut'ina peoples. I am reading as part of an initiative entitled Poetic Nowruz 2. I was very happy to participate in the original Poetic Nowruz last spring, and so this year on March 20th, 2022, which is the first day of spring in the Persian calendar, we will be coming together again, and poems will be translated into Farsi. This is a brand new poem that I would like to share. I'll be reading the English version, and someone else will be providing the translation. And the poem is fresh. I wrote it today off some ideas that came to me yesterday. The title is Release into Spring. Old man, winter, release me, let me wander in tall grasses, gown flowing, feet bare, let me lift my chin to the kiss of the sun, my cheek to the gentle caress of the breeze. Night sky, create a darkness so deep I can dip my plume into its ink. Forest, create a frame within fields of grasses wave, and scattered wherein the first burst of crocus, hyacinth, daffodil, the creams and buttercups, the soft lilacs, the sleepy bee, the busy ant, the ladybird in her spotted overcoat, then the daffodil, the primrose, the tulip, then deeper to the iris, majestic on its stem, the peony, waiting to blush into blossom. Old man, winter, you have been harsh with me these cold, short days, buried my garden under snow, and frost robbed me of my joy. It is time now, old man, winter, to release me into spring. Thank you very much.
My name is Peter Gay Nash, and I'm a Jamaican-Canadian writer and poet. My poem today is Our Spring. This poem represents our lives moving forward or not with the seasons and as the seasons, especially spring. And with each new spring, there is both life and death. Here is Our Spring. Spring is slow to come in these northern climes. Daylilies appear through semi-frozen soil, by the wall that needs parging, by the garage that needs purging. We, darling, in fall of our lives still pushing through frozen soil, unable to unfurl, bloom, desperately seeking sun's existence. Shouldn't we be admiring summer's bounty by now reaping juice from glistening golden pears low hanging from twin trees, juice dripping from our chins? You, darling, in summer of your life, head shaved before and after, picture it spread like dandelions in late spring, cannot be plucked out fast enough. Garden awakens. We prune what doesn't matter, share away parts of ourselves, search for fertile ground, survey winter's damage, see how the cedar reclaims the driveway and wall to the coal room is badly cracked. The brown bird makes a nest again high on the roof. I pray this time the cat doesn't get her young. Thank you.
Body language. Roe deer struts, flicks his head, insinuates what his horns will do. A rival, unafraid, aims to charge. Locked in combat, two heads push lower, now to the side, avoiding a forced flip until, who knows why unless one speaks deerish, a final shove. The younger dashes halfway uphill, enough to indicate you're the boss. And the older, still in charge, turns to graze, fight forgotten. A quarter moon rises. They hunker side by side, keeping lookout and caring for their herd.
Hello everyone, I'm Kelly Kaur from Calgary, Canada. My poem is Beautiful Endings. Spring hides under the persistent blanket of snow. I gingerly tread on slippery, snowy pathways, shudder from the fingers of ice that clasp my naked arms. Nature's eruptions lurk under the bare frozen soil. Patient, sure, slow. Spring beckons your memory, your lilting voice, your stunning smile. You put your hands up in the sky, toss your head back in carefree joy. That night, your table was filled with heaping plates of homemade pakoras, samosas, and gulab jamuns to welcome the new year. They told me your last smile was at the glimmering moon.
My name is Richard Harrison. I live in Calgary, Canada. It's February, not quite yet spring, but it is the month that my son was born, so I always think of it as the month of beginnings. I'd like to read you a poem about his birth. Water birth, for Keegan. With neither language nor a cry, you made me your father. The day you were born in a kiddie pool in our living room, and you slid, calm as silver, beneath the surface of the water. And they were green, the way green trees bend toward the river. Your mother, sister, the women around us crying out, reaching, as with neither language nor a cry, you made me your father. If I revere you here, it is a warning against my sighs. So revere you I will. I whispered like a god of your face, that flattened moment you slid, calm as silver, beneath the surface of the water. Then you did not know what you did not breathe was air. For you were made full in a place without questions. With neither language nor a cry, you made me your father. And when they lay your blood across my scissors, I swung the hinge on the door between your last life and this, where you slid, calm as silver, beneath the surface of the water. You sit under the wind of this dry country like a settler, in a chair made just your size, in the room where you were born. With neither language nor a cry, you made me your father. You slid, calm as silver, beneath the surface of the water.
Hello, my name is Anne Sorby and I'm a Calgary writer and editor. I'm very pleased to be invited to share with you today my poem entitled The Promise of Birch. You might also notice some blue birch in this painting behind me today. It's a beautiful canvas created by artist Janet Armstrong. The Promise of Birch. Below winter's crust, the earth gestates the kind of life we've come to expect of her. We see her anticipation in the arms of trees, reaching east and west, embracing the most wuthering of winds, accepting their dull roar as they have for centuries. Their roots, umbilical by nature, grow beneath the protection of ever-greening cedars. The birch knows birthing and rebirthing, bringing forth life in spite of difficulty or danger, offering boughs of hope, unfurling sweet buds of joy, even though the threat of annihilation lurks. The birch knows her most difficult challenge is living. Living under the threat of the unknown, climate change, war. And still she gives rise to spectacular silver shimmer, arrays of leaves that applaud her existence, her resilience, her bravery. Her earthly bearing depends upon her steadfast vascular fan, a subsurface braiding outspread and reaching for the circumference of her verdant crown, and its otherworldly promise of spring's delight. Thank you so much.
My name is Darcy Friesen-Hossack. I'm the author of Mennonites Don't Dance Stories and a recently completed novel called Stillwater. I'm also the managing editor of Word City Literary Journal. The poem I've chosen to read today is one I wrote in the first spring of the pandemic. I wrote it for my sister out of the love and sorrow of keeping apart for each other's safety. Unfortunately, we are now apart because of how differently we view these last 2 years. Instead of coming back together protected and closer, the distance between us now seems impassable. Still, the love remains, and this is my poem for my sister called Jar. In this season of COVID, I open the jar of my heart and begin to collect all the times we're spending away. Dried berries, a stone from the river, lost feathers, half a blue eggshell, your voice.
Hi, my name is Josie DiShasho Andrews, and I live in Oakville, Ontario, Canada. My poem today is from a collection that was published in 2015 entitled A Jar of Fireflies, which is published by Mosaic Press. And since we are on the theme of spring, I'm going to read my poem entitled Spring Morning. The dandelions have returned, like a million little suns, such childish diadems, bursting yellow rays of joy on the dark fringed brow of green May grasses, fragrant with the hope of seemingly empty space, dark matter teeming with possibilities of renewal. Soon their thin petal strips will fall like short-lived loves, their orgasmic sunbursts replaced with downy puffs of seed, halos of a million tiny candles, each homely flame an arrow, sharp like truths behind all pleasures, like children waiting to be born, beyond the falling stars of lust, burned off sparklers, extinguished suns, exchanging macroscopic incandescence for the small smolderings of bloomlessness, the uneventful life of ordinary days left over in spades of bitter foliage. After the brief, bright joys, the memory of them redeeming the rest of the mundane existence of the beautyless rooted in the humble earth.
Hello, I am KV Skeen, and this is a spring poem. Forward in time and space, the wings of a crow rake the March wind. The following rain, its slow awakening. We walk winter grass and mud and feel the earth breaking. Wherever we go in darkness or daylight, the bones of history, so old they've turned to stone, lie buried beneath altars, rites of passage, from one era to another, from one life to another. Our little minds, our complex madness, our sad philosophies. Doubly precious is the child in the womb, the woman on the bus being carried forward in time and space, only to be overwhelmed by the connections between us, drawn by the season, by what we've evolved with, the way each heart beats faster in flight.
Hi, this is Micheline Mailer, coming to you from Calgary, Alberta, and I'm reading to you today Hibernation Tanka. Red squirrel snored in the woodpile as if winter lit a dream behind his eyelids. We left peanuts on slate and learned spring's real desire.
Hello, this is Nina Kosman. I will read one poem about the seasons and mainly about the sun, because the seasons depend on the sun. And there is a wordplay in the poem, sun, S-U-N, as the sun that shines, and sun, S-O-N. So you will hear the word sun repeated several times, and it's sometimes it's sun, S-O-N, sometimes it's sun, S-U-N. Though it shines so bright and round, though it has been welcomed by all tribes since the beginning of time, or even earlier, before all time, let it not think that I am one of its worshippers. Let it not assume that I am part of a tribe, one of many, that lives by its light, that is saddened by its absence, that marks on calendars the day it appears small, and celebrates it as the birth of its God, the Son of Man, the Son of Man, the Son, the one who comes back to life every spring at Easter Sunday with so much noise. I am not one of its worshippers. I live by the one that rules the night, whose light is weak and barely visible, the gossamer one, the one that loses its sections until nothing is left, the one that hides from the earth's shadow, the moon I live by.
Hello, my name is Anna Ng, a poet from Canada. I want to share one poem. On our bed, we lie like flat fish. Outside, stars grow colder. The moon, a white cocoon, casts its image on the river. In sparsy shadows, a willow dangles. Through the thorn fences, raspberries bleed. They remember once being the fire, jaws the moss, flapping its wings towards Flames of Love. This poem is from Love's Lighthouse by Anna Ing. Thank you.
My name is Danila Andonovska-Trajkovska and I'm coming from Republic of North Macedonia. I'm going to read a poem from my book Electronic Blood. Electrified Desires. We don't cut the cuticles that leave their heads in our electrified desires, as ticks do. We don't even trim the nails to have them under control behind the bars of the computer keyboard. We don't even file them to protect ourselves from scratching while we write down the passwords with which we enter the 3 gates of our single cell, in which we are keeping our freedom so passionately just for ourselves. We are alone in between the automatic electronic messages whose endings are all the same, and the life that keeps failing to begin. Thank you.
Good day, my name is Patrick Connors. Today I'm going to be reading from my first full collection, The Other Life, from Mosaic Press. Ready. A poem is the sunrise after darkest night, an unexpected answer to much fervent prayer. It is grace extended from a neglected muse, only asking to be seen and shared, heard and felt. A poem is inspiration quickly recorded before lost, cut down, built up, cut down again, until it is ready to be read. Thank you for watching.
Hello, my name is Renee M. Scroy, and I'm very pleased to be here reading for Namashum, and I would like to thank Mansour Nurbakhsh for inviting me to participate in this great reading. So I'm going to read for you today a poem that originally appeared in the League of Canadian Poets Poetry Pause, which is a daily newsletter, in fact, and it appeared in 2020. And the poem is entitled Another Spring, and it's for Malcolm. There are green buds on lilac through this window of rain, as birds flock to their landings on bare branches of spring. Spring lands in its timing, in its snow melts, in its vein, and clings green to branches against wind. There is always another spring, another season of worms, another shower of birds and grass in its greenness. It's the grass through the rain. Grass blankets your bed for new birds, for worms, for us. For there is always another spring, another season of rain. You left us vacant through this season of strain. And rain comes down hard on windows, comes down soft, spattered. All transitions are weary. All transitions return. Turning springs to falls, winters, turns us all to earth, to green blankets, spring worms. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Heidi Greco. I live in Surrey, BC, on territory of the Semiahmoo First Nation. The poem I am going to read was in my 2018 book, Practical Anxiety, which was published by Inanna. The poem begins in autumn, but leads to the glory of springtime. Regenerative. Today I planted tulip bulbs, measuring as I dug, each an outspread hand apart, a palm's breadth deep of open earth above each oniony shape. So much implied in the planting of flowers, conviction that green tips will again suffice, survive winter's icy claw, the diggings of frantic squirrels, overcome the knotty roots of cedars gone astray, a belief that they will surface towards earliest warmth, that every holy bud will ripen as it rises, open its blushing mouth, sing praises to the light, reassure my waning faith in hope and second chances, reaffirm the promise of springtime. Yes, to the promise of springtime and to the promise of peace.
Because I am a sled dog. Because I am a sled dog, I have no voice. I can only speak to you with my eyes, with my bark, and with the wagging of my tail. If I could talk to you, I would tell you that I worship you, and that my only wish is to be with you, to be loved and adored, and to be wanted for who I am. I would tell you I am a living, breathing being, much like you, that feels love and joy and pain. And if I could only speak to you in words, I would tell you all these things. I would tell you I am here to do your bidding, even if that means running 1,000 miles in a brutal race I didn't choose to run. Even if it means I might suffer and die. For you are my world, my greatest joy, and I only live to please you. I would protect you with my life if you asked me to. All I ask in return is that you love me back.